Hello, Bloodies. Thank you for visiting the crypt, or office, of the Dead and Laughing Show, where the collection of stories is growing almost every night by souls just like yours. I'm glad to have you here as we delve into tales of the unexplainable and the unbelievable. Verses of shadows and specters, witches and weirdos. Did you hear that? Don't worry. Pay no mind to the entity in your area. It likes to wait until you're all alone. Now grab your cuddle corpse and say a prayer that you don't live in these moments. Welcome to Live with the Afterlife. Fucking finally finished this one. It took me fucking forever. Oh, what? Wait. Oh, hello, Bloodies. I was expecting you at a separate time. Glad you're here. Today, I actually have a small bundle of stories for you. But, you probably wondering what am I doing? Well, there's one. There's two. And you can't forget the third. It's funny. Just thought about it. There are 3 stories today. 3 separate pages, and just so happened to fall into order. 3 separate stories. Today, they're not connected to this. Even though that would be one hell of a story. I mean, look at them. Hopefully you could see it clearly. If you can't, then you need glasses. If you can, hopefully you enjoyed the view. Today's stories are all connected to one thing in common. Homelessness. These people actually went through this shit, and from what they sent, it seems like they were freaked the fuck out. Oh. See you looking at this. You're wondering that this isn't just for show. I am mostly native. Mostly. Multiple tribes. I'm a mutt. Then again, who the hell isn't nowadays? Oh, and if you're wondering, anybody who knows about these, if you're wondering, this is real bone. Yep, real bone. As for today's stories, kind of felt bad for one of them. The others, you know what? One of them, it sounds insane, and one of them sounds just spooky. So, let's get right into the stories. These are homeless stories. Alright, right there. Oh, I want to thank everybody watching. I want to thank everybody who wants to participate, who actually sends in their stories. Beforehand, I wasn't really saying it during the videos, but you know what? Thank you. I mean, I have my own, but it's just crazy to see these stories and know I can relate in some way. And no, I'm not the only one that sees this crazy shit, or who has experienced it. So, thank you. Remember, do all that fun stuff. And Spotify, you can comment. Let me know what you liked. Let me know your favorite. Now, this first one is called Footsteps in the Garage. This man says that when he was in his late 30s, he was homeless with a couple of friends. He met them when he was out on the street. He just had a rotten luck it led to him end up being homeless. Lost his job. He was evicted. He had no choice. His family wanted to help, but this guy, he had a drinking problem. So they didn't want to deal with him. You know what? At least you're honest about it. I'll give you that. At least you're honest about it. It says that when I was out in the street, me and my friends were struggling to find places to sleep. We often occupied different parking lots, different parks. Hell, we even stayed up all night in a Denny's before. All while trying to stay clean, going to the bathroom and cleaning ourselves up, picking up after ourselves since we didn't want to get thrown out. But one night, one of my companions, out of the three of us, one of them decided to get a little bit too happy with the funds that they have. They recently got their Social Security and they wanted to party. So while we were inside a Denny's, he drank and drank and drank, being belligerent, talking to anybody who came by, speaking to any child that walked by, just thinking he was being polite, but really he stank. He wasn't pleasant to be around, and when he drank, he got extremely violent. What the fuck? Why were you hanging around with this motherfucker? This night was no different. When he did this, he did start a fight, but nothing escalated too badly. We got him to calm down, got him some food, and he sat down on his seat, still muttering to himself, not knowing what to say aloud, but angrily growling under his breath. The final straw for that Denny's was when he decided to piss himself and get it all over the floor. All over the floor? Fuck, man. When he did that, there was no hiding it, there was no cleaning. After all, a lot of these Denny's have carpets, and you could hear it, and the smell was horrid. When it finally came down to it, the manager came over and told us that we needed to leave. That they're about to call the cops if we don't leave. Because my friend, at the time, was disturbing the other guests, making children feel uncomfortable, and quite frankly, smelled to the point of tears. God damn, he was making people's eyes tear. So, me and my other friend, the only ones that are sober, decide to just pick him up, take him out, and we went outside. As we went outside, we were waiting just for anything to happen. We thought the cops were going to come by and pick us up. Maybe at least that way we would be sleeping inside. We would have a somewhat meal and get out the next day, or maybe in a week or so. At least we would be inside. That's fucked up. But no cops ever showed up. As the night started getting even just emptier and emptier, we noticed the fog started to come in. The streets got blurred. We couldn't see a thing. There was gray, and the hues of the lights were bleeding into the fog coming in. So we decided, why not go to the parking garage across the street. There was a newly built building with 3 restaurants above a parking garage. and it went down 2 floors. We decided to go there, dragging my drunk friend. When we got in there, again, being loud, being rough, being violent, we went down to as far as we could. Something to get away from the light, but the architect covered the entire garage with lights. Every square inch was bathed in light. Don't know how it is now, but at that time, it was still fairly new. All the lights were shining bright. My friends decided to sleep, for some reason, next to a door. We don't know where it led. We don't know if it was just a stairway or just storage, but they decided to lay down right there. I went to the side. I went to a parking stall that was empty. Laid my jacket down. God, I can relate to this. Laid my jacket down. Covered myself with another jacket. Made sure I was trying to be warm. Placed my head on the... What does that say? Placed my head on the stone or the slab. Kind of hard to see. Sometimes the writing in this is messed up. I'm guessing it's one of those parking stones. You know those big ones? You know what I'm talking about? Laid my head against it and tried to go to sleep. Once I was able to doze off for a few minutes, I was suddenly awoken to a loud stepping. Not even stomping or running or any sounds that would make you think somebody was going to rob you or beat you or anything. Damn. It was just a loud stepping. Like someone wearing shoes that had very hard soles. Like those older fancy shoes with a leather sole. You could hear it clicking as they got closer. Not like heels, but a full shoe. As it got closer, I got worried. I was thinking that maybe they were going to call the cops and have us taken away again. Then again, I thought about it and said the same thing as before. Maybe we'll be able to get inside and have a little bit of food to eat and be able to sleep indoors. Fuck, man. As I waited, as it got closer, I was thinking, what's taking so long? They sound like they're getting a lot closer. They're almost up to me. My friends haven't said anything. In fact, they haven't even made a peep. Were they gone? Did they ditch me? They've only done that once and then apologized in a crazy amount. But this time there was nothing. No sounds. No nothing. I got worried. So I got up and I checked. I checked on my friends. They were asleep. The steps sounded like they were right beside them. Right in that area. I was only around the corner. But there was nothing. No person. No cars. Everything was filled with light. But they were asleep. I don't know what could have happened. I don't know where that sound came from. Where we were laying down, we had a clear view of the street through some bars. And through some bars acting as windows. We had a clear view of the sidewalk. There were nobody walking. Wait, there was nobody walking on the sidewalk. Where were those steps coming from? I quickly woke my friends up and said, we need to get the fuck out of here. I gathered my stuff as quick as possible. They were obviously grumpy, especially my drunken friend, reeking of urine and alcohol. We told him, just come on, get up, we need to go. So we did. Went to the nearby park. We set up there, fell asleep. I told them what happened in the morning. They didn't believe me. They said I was making it up, that I was just worrying too much, that it's all in my head. But really, I heard those steps. I don't know who or what it could have been from, but I heard them. And they walked casually up to us as if we weren't there. As if a person was going to their car to retrieve something that they have forgotten. Just walking calmly. Still haven't forgotten that day. Even though my alcoholic friend has passed away, and I am now in a one-bedroom apartment, back on my feet. I have a job and I'm taking care of myself and doing everything that I can. My other friend, I have no idea what happened to him. After I started to pick myself up, we drifted apart. He went to a separate homeless shelter, and that was the last I've ever heard of him. I hope he's okay. He was a good person. Wow. That's a trip. That is a trip. I had something similar happen to me before, but not like that. We hit out. Because if you don't know, I was homeless for 2 years, and we had something kind of like this happen, but not exactly. I know what he means by having to go into garages and having to try to sleep, but that just, yeah, that's a trip. That is a trip. Well, at least you're back on your feet. At least you're taking care of yourself. Man, the other one died. I wouldn't be surprised if it was due to his alcoholism. I know how that is. I've had family members who've gone through that shit and worse. So, yeah, that can really screw you up. Not gonna lie. Now, next story. Hopefully you enjoyed that one. I enjoyed it. Alright. This one is called They Were Wearing Victorian Clothes. Hello. I'm writing this from a time when I was younger, stupid, out on the street. I didn't want to listen to anybody. I had no choice but to sleep outside, hide away in bushes. And at this time, I was speaking to the manager at a bank if I could sleep in front of the doors to hide away. They said yes to clean up the area. They obviously felt bad. So, I put my blanket down, sleeping bag actually, put my jacket over me, had some sweats on, and I was comfy. Trying to be. Even though I can hear animals out in the street just pitter-pattering along, a car here and there going by on the road. Occasionally you'll hear other people. Me, a younger woman at that time, I was alone, scared. But I wasn't that scared. I did have a weapon. I had a couple. I had to fashion some for myself, and the one that I had on me at all times was a large knife. A large folding knife, to be honest. And I was fairly good at using it. What the hell do you mean by that? This night seemed like every other so far. Till I started hearing people. 2 people getting closer to me. Me thinking, I don't know what's gonna happen. I pulled out my knife, popped it open, and I was ready. I was waiting. I was tense. Gripping the blade, my hands somehow suddenly felt sweaty, even though I was cold. Heard these people coming up. It sounded like a male and female, a man and a woman walking closer. I seen 2 people. They didn't look right. As they passed in front of me, she was wearing what looked like a Victorian era dress. Not incredibly fancy, but still very nice. He was wearing a suit. A top hat, not extremely tall, but it was still a top hat. I noticed them, and I thought I was sleeping. I thought maybe this is a dream. As they were walking, they didn't pay no mind to me. They just kept going by. Then sudden stop before they reached the sidewalk. The area that I was laying down in, I was facing a parking lot, and it was right in front of a Rite Aid at the time. So I could see the Rite Aid in the distance off to my left, but what was in front of me was just parking lot. Obviously empty due to it being 2 in the morning. But they stopped. They didn't continue to walk, they just stopped. Almost as if they froze in place. For a minute or so, at least I think, they didn't do anything. They stood there. Then they turned to look at each other. I felt a little bit worried the man would notice me. I don't know what they would have done. Maybe they would have called the cops. Or maybe they could have just been a couple of sickos out in the street. You never know. I have come across some people who are sickos on the streets. That's why you were good with a knife, huh? You had to take care of yourself. I mean, hey, if you have to, good on you. But they didn't notice me. He didn't peek over her shoulder, as you would expect somebody to. He just looked at her. At this point, I started noticing something strange. I can kind of see through them. I can see their details. I can see the details in her dress, but I could still see the parking lines behind them. Oh, the painted lines. So, okay. I could still see the parking lines behind them. Honestly, I thought I was tripping out. I haven't done anything, no drugs, no drinking. I've been trying to sleep as much as I could. Maybe I'm sleep deprived, I thought. Maybe I'm just seeing things. Maybe there's something wrong with my eyes. Where I'm seeing, maybe one eye is seeing more than off to the side than it should have. But no, after all this, I got checked. After I finally started to pick myself up, I got checked in for glasses and everything, and no, I'm fine. But during this time, these were all the questions that were going through my head. Am I really seeing through these people? By this point, I wasn't even thinking how long they'd been standing there staring at each other. It felt like forever. They picked each other's hands up. She put her right hand into his left, and he put his right hand on her hip. She put her left hand on his shoulder. They started to dance. spinning in the parking lot. I thought, what the hell is going on? What kind of fucking shit is happening right now? As I sat there clutching my blade, I had no idea what to do besides sit there and shiver. I had a strange feeling, an odd feeling that maybe I shouldn't be watching. Maybe I shouldn't be staring at this couple, at these people. But they just continued their dance. After that, I don't know how or when I fell asleep. Last I remember, I was staring at them, just doing the waltz. That's it. A couple of turns and I was out. I woke up, my knife was folded, it was still in my hands. I thought maybe I was seeing things. Maybe it was nothing. Maybe I did dream it. But why did I have my knife in my hand? It was in my pocket when I laid down. It didn't make any sense, but I brushed it off. I didn't want to put any more thought on it and stress myself out. Trying to stay positive at that moment, so I went looking for work. So far, just apply. I explained my situation and that I could get a residence, hopefully, but I don't know if they bought it. None of them called me back at that point, so I don't think any of them ever did. But I went back. Honestly, a little hesitant, thinking, what if they come back? What if that couple comes back? What if they noticed me this time? What if they noticed me then? Who goes out in the middle of the night, dressed up in Victorian garb, and starts dancing in the street? Not even the street, in a empty parking lot. I don't know. I wasn't trying to think about it that hard. I just thought maybe I should just go to sleep. It's getting late. It's around midnight. I should go to sleep. There was a sign that had the time on it, not that far from the bank, so I seen it. It was past the point where I was thinking. I thought closer to midnight, it was already after 1. So I hurriedly made my way back to the bank, got comfy in that little nook, and I tried to go to sleep. I'm not sure if it was around the same time when I heard the footsteps again. I heard them getting closer and closer and closer. It was the same people. Same dress. Same suit. They did the exact same thing. They walked up, stopped. This time I was paying attention. This time I knew I was awake. I wasn't trying to fall asleep yet. But I knew I was awake. And these two, it was just eerie how they turned to each other, stared. I didn't know what to do. Again, I was frozen. As they're looking at each other, they started to turn, twirl. This time it didn't make any sense. I thought maybe somebody had slipped something into my food. Maybe somebody put something in my drink hoping it would kick in sooner, and it barely started. But I could swear they started to glow. As electricity was coming from the middle, I thought, I'm going crazy. There's no way this is actually happening. There's no way that they're generating any type of energy. Any type. There's no exposed wires, nothing. There was no down power lines to make me think or see anything like that, or anything at all to even remotely come close to that sort of thought to come. It was just them dancing in an empty parking lot. I could still see through them as they started to emit light. I don't know if anybody else seen this. All I know is I seen it. And I'm not crazy. I seen them. The next morning, again, not knowing when I fell asleep, I decided then and there, I have to get off the street. I have to get away from this bank. I have to get away from this area. So I did. I went a little bit further up the road. Didn't see those people again. Didn't have that moment again. Didn't hear those steps again. But I still think about it. This time I've been questioning recently if they are real. If that moment was real. Maybe I was sleep deprived. I wasn't on drugs. I haven't done anything like that. I'm not sure. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Thank you. That's a trip. That's a fucking trip. One thing like this kind of happened to somebody I knew, but it wasn't like Victorian. They just kept hearing like somebody's fucking with the bushes, because they had to like sleep in like a nook of like a little building. So they did that, but they kept hearing like somebody fucking with the bushes. They were freaked the fuck out until they realized what is it? It's a fucking animal. It was an animal. I don't think they realized what the fuck it was. They said it could have been a cat. But that's a trip. That made me think about that. That's crazy. Well, you got off the street. It seemed like you did. Good for you. Weird fucking moment. What do you want me to say? That is a strange moment. 2 nights in a row where you heard footsteps. First one, you see these people and you think they're fucking weird, but then you realize you can see through them. Second night, generating light? Like electricity, like electrical, all that? That's just... the fuck? It's either you're lying about being on drugs, in which case, I don't judge. If you were, you were. If you weren't, you weren't. But that's a trip. That's a trip. I don't blame you for having weapons on you. Although I'm kind of wondering, what were the other ones that you fashioned yourself? But, damn, a big-ass blade, big foldable blade on you. I don't blame you. As having said, I've been homeless before, and having to just deal with some homeless people who are just fucking crazy as shit. So you have to outmatch their crazy. You have to out crazy. So I get that. Other ones were actually very nice and got their asses off the street. So, hey, man. On to the next story. Let's see. This one is 2 cops shot at what? This one comes from an older gentleman. He says, "Hello. This happened to me quite some time ago. I was around my 50s, trying to pick myself back up before my family helped me to get back on my feet. I didn't want to do what they said. I was honestly being a child. I had a drinking problem, among other things. And my friends at that time were not helping. Honestly, they were just feeding into it. Telling me not to listen to my family, not to listen to people who were my real friends that I grew up with. But my friends out in the street, oh, they knew what I needed. They knew that I needed more alcohol. They knew that I needed to be there for them. Sadly, I found out later that that wasn't the case. Too bad it was after this. This moment happened to me when I was trying to sleep in a bundle of bushes across the street from a Jack in the Box. Occasionally I would go to the Jack in the Box. It was 24 hours, and I would use the bathroom, maybe get something to drink if I had the funds. If I had change on me, if I had enough change on me, I would try to get something to eat. But this night, I didn't have anything. I haven't bathed in quite some time, and I didn't want to bother anybody. They were working that night. Otherwise, I would have gone in. I was going to wait till the next day. Trying to go to sleep, I heard what sounded like a skittering. It sounded strange sounds coming out of the sewer that was in front of the Jack in the Box. Really didn't pay no mind to it, didn't pay no attention to it. Just thought, well, maybe it's just a raccoon, possum. Maybe it's a rat. I have no idea. Trying to get comfortable, I stretched out, stretched my feet, just tried to relax. Wrapped myself in my blanket and my jacket, with my bag acting as a pillow. My basket wasn't that far from me. I could see it. Then I kept hearing that skittering. Thinking, that's really loud. And it was coming from that sewer. There was barely any cars on the road. Barely anything at all. Remember seeing somebody across the street just walking right over that sewer. Seen something come out. I wasn't sure what it was. It seemed to have what I thought was multiple legs. More than 4. And it looked like an insect. It was strange. I honestly freaked the hell out. I was in the bush about to shit my pants. I was scared, thinking, what the fuck is that? It came out, this man that was walking on the sidewalk clearly freaked the fuck out and started trying to kick it. His luck, cop car happened to pull up and see him freaking out. They didn't know what to do. First things I heard them say is, "Hey, are you okay? What the fuck is that?" As the man tried to kick it off his leg, he was struggling. He was very much struggling. One of the officers ran up and started stomping on him. It made this strange screech. The officer kept stomping, occasionally stomping on the man as well, as they were all freaking the hell out. Third officer, who was driving the car, got out with his pistol drawn. Didn't know what to do. He was panicking. He was trying to say over the radio that there was something on this man. It let go and went towards the officer that was stomping on it. That officer freaked the fuck out, pulled out his gun, and started firing. He fired 3 shots. I'm not even sure if it hit. The sound freaked the hell out of it. As it skittered towards the sewer, the other officer fired 5 rounds. I remember hearing them vividly. Scared shitless, I didn't know what to do or think. Because when they leave, however long it's gonna take, I'm still right here. I still have to sit here, trying to sleep because I have nowhere to go. I started thinking about that as they're all trying to figure out what the fuck that was. Well, as we are all trying to figure that out. The man that was just casually walking didn't know what to say. He was freaked. He was freaked the fuck out. He wanted to get the fuck away from there. They went inside and they told the workers what just happened because the workers looked like they were panicking inside. They didn't know what the fuck was happening either. Me sitting across the street watching this whole thing. Wasn't hearing the skittering. I was hearing them panic. I wasn't hearing any skittering. No movements, no. Nothing like that then, huh? I seen them talking to the workers. They covered their mouth at certain points. I'm starting to think that they were telling them what the hell they just saw. They had no answer for it. They even started using their hands like they were miming what it could have been. How many legs were they saying? How many were they talking about? What kind of creature were they trying to put together? They had no fucking clue. The cops came out, I overheard them talking, saying, "Have you ever seen something like that?" I've never seen anything like that. The man that was attacked by whatever the fuck that was leaning against the glass. He didn't know what to think or say. He looked shocked. Probably as shocked as I looked, sitting in that bush, watching it all happen. Cops asked him if he needed a ride, where he needed to go. I overheard the cop yell as he opened one of the doors for the Jack-in-the-Box. "Be careful, we don't know if we hit it. We don't know what it is." And then some muttering. I couldn't quite hear, couldn't quite tell what was said as 3 cars happened to pass at the same time. So I didn't know what happened, what they responded with, or what the other officer has said. But they said, "We're not, don't talk about it, just go, do you need a ride?" The man on the street said, "Yeah, I don't want to walk right here. I don't want to walk right here." Freaking the fuck out. Understandably, I would be freaking the fuck out too if that happened. But then again, I was sitting in the bush across the street when that happened. So, as you would think at the time, when the officers got in the car, they were just shaking their heads. The one that I seen was just shaking his head. As he went to the driver's side, he was just shaking his head. That's in disbelief. They all got in. They took off. I don't know whatever happened to that. But I brought it up to some of my other friends that were out in the street with me. And they said that they've seen some weird stuff too like that in that area. That they've heard strange things coming from the sewer. They didn't know what the fuck it was. When I explained to them what I saw, what happened, only one of them said, "I seen something like that." "What do you mean?" "I seen it in the sewer, I peeked in. I don't know what the fuck it was, but I saw legs." That's all I saw. But I seen something. After that, I figured I need to get the fuck off the street. Because that night scared the living shit out of me. That night, I didn't sleep. I was watching that sewer. Occasionally, here and there, hearing a skitter. That's about it. I didn't hear anything else. The night went quiet. As the sun started getting higher, well, started to peak, cars started coming by. They started moving. More cars, more cars, more cars. Less worry. I eventually fell asleep for what felt like a few minutes, but it was a couple hours. After that conversation, called my family. Mustered whatever change I could, and at the time with the payphone, I was able to actually use it. Although now that payphone is gone. But every time I'm in the area and I see that, it reminds me of that night. I look at the spot where the payphone was and it reminds me just how freaked out I was calling them, telling them I needed their help. They thought I was full of shit. I didn't tell them exactly what happened, but they thought I just wanted money. Ever since then, went to a family member's house. My cousin, in fact, let me live there. Let me take up an extra room they had. Stayed there. Got a job. Got back on my feet. I've been okay since. I told my family about that night. They couldn't believe me. A couple of them outright said, "Bullshit. You're lying. That doesn't happen. Whatever that was, it doesn't exist. Maybe you were drunk. Maybe you were on something else. Maybe you were doing something." And their heavy judgments sank in and really ate away at me. But I did do that to myself. I was doing those things. But to see all that, and then those people have to deal with it, I couldn't believe it. Who knows? Maybe it was just maybe a raccoon. Maybe it was just a small furry animal that I just mistook for something else. Never seen those cops. Never seen that man again. People at the Jack in the Box I have seen. And I did bring it up to them. One of them said that they knew, that they remember that night. That's about it. Now they're a manager. I haven't gone there since. I hope you enjoy this. Thank you. That's what the fuck? So, I got questions, buddy. One question. What were you on? What kind of shit were you taking? Oh, goddamn. Just, it's unbelievable. It's fucking crazy. Oh, man. Hopefully you enjoyed that, bloodies. That was a weird one, bloodies. I don't know. The last one, I don't want to call bullshit, but I'm just thinking, how high were you? But then again, you said you've been back to that location, and you spoke to one of the people that were there. I don't know how you would bring that up. That's a fucking weird one. Okay, one of the workers who was there is now a manager. Okay. And they said they remember that. you sure it just wasn't some little rabid animal? I'm thinking here, I'm like 50-50, because I don't judge. I know a lot of crazy shit happens. I know weird things do happen, and I can't say anything because I've experienced some weird shit. Just, wow, that just sounds fucking crazy. Some large insect attacks somebody in the fucking street. And that, fuck. I think I'm leaning on disbelief, because if that's real, that's just fucking insane. Just to put myself in your shoes, it's just like, what the fuck? If I'm across the street, sitting there watching that happen, watching some dude get attacked by something that looks like it has multiple fucking legs, and cops just with just some perfect fucking timing, just roll up, see him freaking out, stop, get out, freak the fuck out themselves, and then stomp it, and you hear it sounds, they shoot at it, and it skitters back into the sewer. What the fuck? I think what would be more scary is the people that it jumped at. I mean, alright, if this is a story you made up, dude, good on you, because that's fucking weird. That is fucking weird. It's crazy to fucking think about. Others will probably say, that's bullshit, it's stupid. I'm actually thinking, what the fuck? The reason why I love these stories, put yourself in that position. It's just fucking... you don't know how you would feel, how you would react, how strange you would fucking feel. Just to see and like, oh, fuck, what the fuck? Take, for example, the first one. The whole footsteps. Honestly, I would have panicked. I would have thought, is somebody going to come over here? Is somebody going to try something? Am I going to have to go to jail tonight for beating up somebody? Or am I going to have to go to jail for helping somebody when they're getting attacked? Because, I mean, being out in the street, I've had those thoughts in those situations where it's like, am I going to have to get arrested for either being attacked and I defend myself, or I'm helping somebody? So I know that feeling. The second one. Okay, lady, I know you said that you weren't on drugs. Sounds like you were on some good shit. If you didn't panic. But it sounds like you were panicking. It sounds fucking trippy. It sounds strange. It sounds so fucking strange. It was emitting light. They were emitting light. Huh. Hopefully you enjoyed those bloodies. Hopefully you enjoyed those. I'm still like wrapping my head around them because it's just like, what the fuck? Oh man. That's the end of the episode, bloodies. Hopefully you enjoyed. Remember, leave a like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, play with my bell to stay notified. Make sure to follow on Instagram. Make sure you go to Spotify. Leave a comment. Let me know which one you actually enjoyed. If you have your own, feel free, put it there. I'm gonna read it. I go over everything. I go over every goddamn thing. So, feel free. Oh man. Other than that, that's about it. I'm gonna drink my drink. I might go out there and play a video game. Because I finished the piece and I gotta figure out where am I gonna find a frame for this big one. For these three beautiful ladies. Where am I gonna find a frame for that? Oh, if I need to build one custom, that's gonna suck. But why not? Bye, bloodies!